Yes, let's flex, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hamilton, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Hofstadter?
Present.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Foreman?
Present.
Mr. Ellison?
Here.
Mr. Pratt?
Here.
Mr. Livingston? Mr. Culbertson?
Here.
Judge Covington?
Present. That said, let the record reflect we have quorum. We can conduct business, take action. First item on our agenda, consideration is minutes from our previous meeting. Those meeting minutes were shared by email by Ms. Hamilton. Any questions or comments related to those as presented?
No questions, Judge. Motion.
Motion from Mr. Hostetler, second from Mr. Jones. Thank you. Any other question or comment? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item to consider is the transfers as presented by our treasurer, Michelle Ray. Any questions or comments?
Motion for approval.
Motion. Second from Mr. Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Bills. There are no hand checks. Just the bills as presented for the record. Any questions or comments?
Motion.
Motion from Mr. Hostetler. Second from Kelly Corman. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Let the record reflect Mr. Livingston is in attendance.
A little fire this morning.
I'm sorry. I saw your text. I hope everything's okay. I did not want to share that, but you did. All right. That leads us to number 7, net device update. And we have some visitors. And I'm going to turn this over to Master Rick Hostetler to introduce our guests. And we're going to hear some update and firsthand testimony. So I'm very thankful to have you all here, and it means a lot to hear firsthand how a program can positively impact people. And I think that's what this is all about. And Rick, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure, thanks, Judge. And we do have some guests involving the net device. There are 4 folks here that have been recently treated. I don't know how recent, but in the previous few months. There's even one young lady here that was treated in our detention center. And so they each have a testimony. They asked to come and share that and whatever they have on that they want to share. Also, by way of introduction, she'll be speaking last. We have Magistrate Kelly Dykes from Franklin County, also involved with the net device. I think Franklin County is treating folks as well. And so I'll introduce, I'm going to go out of order, but I'm going to introduce the guy first, Richie Lopez. Richie, if you want to come and share. While he's coming to the podium, one more comment. So I've shared with the court before that Donna and I, my wife, have started a net recovery support group, and we meet on Tuesday nights, and we meet at Mary Safe Haven. And several of these folks, not all of them, but several of them that are going to give testimony this morning, were treated there and or are still being, in her program of recovery. So it's, I really want to highlight that. Julie Gray, she wants to be here, but she's really sick right now. She's been sick for about a week. She'd be here if she could, representing her facility, but on her behalf, there's a lot going on out there, and there's a lot of folks being helped. And when they're treated there, she makes a place for them, and they get jobs. They try to start making reconnections, whatever, with their families, and some of them move out at some point or whatever. So that's a little bit of history of what's going on there. And Donna and I have the privilege, I call it, to help interact and help these folks walk away from a life of addiction. Richie.
Hey, Richie, welcome, and so glad to have you here.
Nice to meet y'all. Yeah, my name is Richie Lopez. First of all, I'm going to say thank y'all for giving me the chance to take the net device. A little bit about myself. Since I've been out here, I did catch a couple DUIs. And the second one, I decided I need to make a change. So I got into Oxford House out here and started going AA. And I was doing pretty good. For about 3 months, I really didn't have no urges or nothing. But then I started getting urges to drink again. And that's when Miss Julie told me I could come out there and do the net device. So I went out there and did the net device. And I haven't had no urges to drink since then. I don't even like the smell of it anymore. And since then, I made president of my house, of the Oxford House, and I've been doing pretty good. And I don't think none of that would have been possible if it wasn't for the net device.
Well, thank you for being here, and that's fantastic news. Masters, any questions or comments? Thank you.
Thanks, Richie. Yeah, it is. And next, I'll ask Tiffany Roark.
Good morning.
Don't be afraid. Just look at the clown on the end over there.
My name is Tiffany Roark. I am 32 years old. I am from Letcher County, Kentucky. I have 3 kids, and I have been in active addiction since I was 12 years old. My drug of choice was meth. I ended up at Very Safe Haven with my kids after we ended up homeless. Since being here, I have found a job and have been able to take care of me and my kids. When I was in active addiction, I lost my son. I became depressed and I let people run over me. I have a court order to do IOP solution in SB90. I ended up on Suboxone for 8 years. In September, I was offered to do the net device at Very Safe Haven. After doing the net device, I was able to finally get off Suboxone, and I am finally able to write down my goals and finally feel clear-minded. Now, thanks to Very Safe Haven and the net device, I can start working towards my goals of getting my GED, my driver's permit, and getting my own place for me and my kids.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. Yes. Thank you.
Corey.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Okay. My name is Tori Jackson. I'm 26 from Manchester, Kentucky. I've been in active addiction for 13 years. My drug of choice was meth. Due to my addiction, I lost my kids, lost my house, lost cars, lost self-worth. I've tried going to other places. I've done other rehabs and sober livings. I've done it for social workers and for the courts. I ended up in Mary Safe Haven after 8 months in jail, rehab, and was offered, in rehab, and I got my kids back after a year. I was offered to do the net device, and I done it, and it took all the cravings away. It made my mind clear, and I feel like a totally different person now. I feel like I can accomplish my future goals because of the tools I have now from Mary Safe Haven and the net device.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. And one other young lady, Karen.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I am Karen King. I did the net 10 device in May. I got arrested on May 7th of 2025, and I went to Scott County Jail and I did the net 10 device. Since getting released, I did 90 days in jail, and since being released, I was homeless for a while, but I got my own apartment. I start my job next week. I have almost 8 months clean. I have been in and out of recovery a lot. Been in active addiction since I was 12. I'm 35. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I can succeed. I have no cravings. I don't think about using it, and I walk everywhere. It's put in my face a lot, and I don't even want it at all. I have zero cravings, and this device has really helped me be able to start a foundation from somebody who is completely hopeless to have a whole lot of hope today. I do attend 12-step meetings, but the success that I've had getting out of jail, because the real trouble starts when the doors open to you and the world is waiting. I didn't go use like I always have. After this device, I didn't get out and use. I went straight to a meeting, and I made a difference in my life. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity that this has been given to me, because my whole life has changed.
Fantastic. Congratulations. God bless.
Thanks, Karen. I want to encourage you to continue on that path of checking in with folks in the meetings and Also invite you to our Tuesday night meetings, and Kelly can share my number with you. And so, Kelly, you want to? Kelly Dykes from Franklin County.
Hi, Court.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
I just wanted to give you, thank you. I just wanted to, number one, I mean, how awesome is that? Like,
awesome.
there's nothing
Let's
better
give
than
her
that.
a
There's
round of
nothing I can say that's going to beat that. So I'm going to let your wonderful jailer give you your all's numbers, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of information. So when we started this adventure, and I started it as a magistrate, I was not working for NET. When we started it, it was interesting, right? People look at it and go, I don't know, that's a little woo-woo. I don't know what that thing is supposed to do. Like, it's different, right? And I think it's difficult for people who have heard medication over and over and over again to kind of get on board with this. But we need all of our options. These folks need all options available to them. And this is the first FDA cleared option that we have that is not medication. And so that's why I got involved. It's why I love it so much. And I've seen so many of these stories that like it has just made my life better, truly. So since May of 2024, when the I guess after we were cleared in May of 2024, we have served 456 Kentucky residents across 9 addiction treatment facilities and 5 detention centers. It's growing really fast, and I will tell you, Scott County is, I mean, it's our guiding star, sincerely. This man comes wherever we need him and tells everybody about what happens in the jail, what he sees, the changes that he sees. Rick does the same with Mary Safe Haven and other treatment facilities. So I just want to be able to be the person that can answer any questions that you might have. Anybody have anything?
Kelly, I think we've talked about this, but I think Tiffany is from Letcher County, and I believe they're signed on, and didn't they pay?
They did.
They
Yeah.
paid for the net
Yes.
device, but they sent her here to Mary Safe Haven.
That's right.
You know, so
some
I
of
thought
our,
that's an awesome way to kind of partner.
It is. Some of our counties do not. They're so far away that if they only have 1 or 2 people to treat, it's really hard for us to be able to afford to send a net tech that direction. So sometimes they'll send them to Central Kentucky, where we have, various treatment facilities that are involved. But you guys don't get billed for that. Letcher County got billed for that, I promise.
Well, but, the opioid settlement fund, has restrictions, and I think the court's been very proactive in partnering with the jail as well, but to do the treatment program and using those funds to try to help people, and then we've also used funds towards some education piece, and then we also are using it with our EMS, our community paramedicine, partially funded through that as well, because he follows up quite a bit with folks that are in addiction and have active OD events and such. So, I'm just like hearing firsthand from people how it positively impacts their lives and gives them hope. I think is very powerful, and I want to. You all are making the choices. You just had a little help with this treatment, and y'all keep it up, and we're very, very excited for you. And what other comments would anyone have from the court? Kelly Corman.
Sure.
Yeah, just a little bit about the process of the net, because we've talked about it, we've seen it, and I've watched the video. But after somebody has their treatment, however long that lasts,
You watched that video?
Rick made you all watch the video. I know him, yeah.
I threatened him.
but is there ongoing treatment with a net device? Is like, does somebody come back 6 months or 12 months, or how does that-
Typically, no. Typically, that is not needed. We've had a few instances where someone will leave jail and get themselves back into active addiction again and will need to be treated again, but that actually happens rarely. It really does. I'm also a mental health counselor, and so for me, it is really, really important that once someone has been successful with the net device, that they go and get further treatment, because we know, I mean, nobody gets up in the morning and says, I want to be an addict today, right? Like, there are many, many life experiences that get people there. And the net device can't fix that. Like, it's not going to fix your trauma, right? Like, we need counseling, we need other services to be able to figure out why we got to that place to begin with, right? So for me, that's really important, but it's not something net does. So we make partnerships to make sure that that happens for people.
Well, thank you for that information. Anything else? Any other questions? Well, thank you, and
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas to all. And
I'm gonna let him
best
come
of
up and
luck.
tell you how
Okay,
many people
Jill
we've
Rose.
treated at the jail.
All right.
Thank you all so much.
No.
Good morning,
Thank you,
Judge. Good morning, magistrates. So we're closing out our first year using the net device. We started December of 2024, and up to this point, we've treated 50 individuals at the jail. Of those, as you know, we're following up with these individuals for a year. And so we're finishing up with, or getting ready to finish up with, the ones that really we started early with this process. And out of those 50 that have completed the program at the jail, 29 of them are still doing well. Those are individuals that we can contact that say, yep, I'm doing fine, I don't have any cravings, I have not reverted back to drug use, and I'm being successful. To Kelly's point, now, before I even get on Kelly's point, the reason they may not be part of that successful group could be that they started the net device at the jail and they quit before the program was over. So that includes some of those individuals that didn't even complete the program at the jail. But the rest of them are individuals that have reverted back to a drug lifestyle, or we just can't get a hold of them. And as I've stated to you guys before, this particular segment of our population tends to be kind of transient and difficult to keep up with, changing phone numbers, changing addresses, not having a permanent address. So they can be very difficult to get a hold of. So being able to get a hold of 30 of them, and for 30 of them to say, I'm doing well and I don't have the cravings, we see that as extremely successful. That's about a 62% success rate. And again, consider some of those that are in the bad category. Those are individuals that we can't get a hold of. And so I'd like to think at least some of those are doing okay as well. But baseline, bare minimum, we've got a 62% success rate going on so far with it, which I think is just astronomical. It's what the net device people initially told us that they were experiencing. And I thought that was a high number when we started. I was hoping for 30, 40% success rate, but we're experiencing right on target with what they told us initially. Kelly, to your point, as far as follow-up treatment, I'm just reminding you guys support certainly the net device, which we're very appreciative that you support that endeavor at the jail and at Mary Safe Haven and at these other places. But you all also support continue to support us offering follow-up treatment to individuals that successfully complete the net device. I, with Kelly, am in total agreement. I think that is critical. To get to maybe some of the issues that cause them to go down the path of using drugs, which the net device doesn't address at all, but also to offer that aftercare to help kind of baby step them back into the community with some of the services that they need to be successful. So we do continue to offer that. It's voluntary. Not everybody that completes the net device wants to take us up on it, but that is still an option for the individuals at the jail that complete the net device to get some additional treatment post-net device care, and that's post-incarceration also.
Questions? It's great news. Thanks for sharing that. And appreciate it very, very much.
Yep. Appreciate you
Thank
guys.
you all
Thank
for coming as well. Thank you so much. We'll move on to number 8 in our agenda, EMS new hire and promotion. Jeff Mudrack.
Yes, good morning, everyone. On behalf of Chris Learning, I'm pleased to recommend the appointment of 5 new employees and 1 promotion in the department. The 2 new hires that are coming on full-time are Houston Berry and Jordan Sigmund. They'll both begin employment on January 5th. Houston Berry will start with us as a paramedic at $18.94 an hour, and Jordan Sigmund at $14.56 an hour as an EMT. So that's two of the, and then I have three part-time people, Matthew Miles, Hannah Short, and Tanner Hill. All will start on or after January 5th at $14 an hour. And the last person I have is Noah Howell, is a part-time employee. He's been working as an EMT. He's completed his paramedic certification, so we're promoting him to the paramedic position. And that'll be at $20 an hour effective January 3rd.
Questions or comments? Motion from David Livingston,
Second.
second from Rick Hostetler.
I do have a quick question. What's that do for, where's he at on staffing now?
Well, they are at full. This will fill all their vacant positions.
And you'll have some part-time,
To supplement,
more
yeah.
part-time, right? To
Yes.
fill in any gaps.
Right.
Thank you.
Have we hired the three,
This is
or the three other EMTs?
this fills those positions.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Don't go far, Jeff. EMS truck repair update. We'll call on JR and Chris. This is truck 1006. It's a 2017 F450 that was involved in an accident. And we received a check for $36,539 originally from the adjuster and such based on estimates. But after they got in it, Paul Miller started really digging in. They wanted to come back and recommend, instead of straightening the bent frame in the front, replacing the frame. And I'm going to lean on JR. JR, would you like to comment on that recommendation?
Yeah, when you get into something like that, a lot of times you got to dig into it and tear it apart to see exactly how bad the damage is, and it was a little bit more than what we thought in the beginning, but I think we need to move forward on this. And
So their estimate is $47,115, and we have sent that new estimate to yes, Vivian at Keiko. We're just waiting on them to get back. But in my opinion, this is we should go ahead and move forward with the more comprehensive replacement of the front frame as recommended.
And I will say Keiko's been great on going back and looking at readjusting their figures and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's 36,539, and the estimate, the new estimate's 47,115. So, would anyone have any other comment, and would there be a motion? Motion second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all. Chris, will you get with Paul Miller, with Larry Pointer, and
The motion is to move forward whether they cover it or not.
correct. To move forward with that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Did the other driver have insurance? Do we know?
I don't know the answer to that.
Feel like yes.
David will.
Claims.
Yeah. David will try to follow up on that. Now that leads us, JR and Jeff can come back up. Road Department promotion, and you all been busy. I'll let you all take it from here.
Yes, we completed interviews yesterday with 2 internal candidates, and JR would like to recommend the appointment of one of those, and that's Wes Bryant, to that new blended position of equipment operator, safety and CDL specialist, whose new rate of pay will be $25.38 an hour, and that'll be effective January the 5th.
Questions or comments? Fantastic. Motion from Ryan Pratt. Second from Rob Jones. Any other questions or comments?
Quick question, Judge.
Yes, sir.
So that's not a new position. You're just adding some duties to a current employee. So how is your staffing
He's
today?
fully staffed.
Are they all full?
Until the 31st of this month, which we'll move to.
Yeah.
And Jeff's done on top of that, he's done hosted the position. we'll select candidates here after the first of the year.
I was thinking in one of our previous meetings, you had mentioned you had a retire or somebody coming up or something, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we already had filled that position. This is new activity, a new
Oh,
resignation.
okay.
received.
Thank you.
I think Rick's concern, though, it is a little bit, we're giving this guy much more work and probably pulling him away from something else. Are you in need of an extra? Because that's where I've been worried about.
We will be losing one on April 1st to retirement.
Yeah.
Another one. But I think after me and Jeff and I talked about this, we can possibly look at some future candidates, do the applications we'll take in this time, and we'll kind of be ready to.
Well, you know, what we've done with the fire department, I think, and kind of sort of with the EMS, that lateral, or having people, I guess that's what you're talking about. You've got these other applications. Yeah, you have somebody really keyed up. I don't know what you should call that, but you know what I'm saying? Because you definitely don't need a vacancy during this season, snowplow season, that is.
Any season anymore.
Well, true, but snowplow especially.
Dwayne may have his CDL, I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow,
Come on,
just
Dwayne.
that's what the question's about, and just making sure you're fully staffed, especially it's all year round, but especially now with the snow season. That's all I was thinking about. Motion. We got one. Yeah.
We already approved
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Motion
We
is
haven't
second.
voted. Yeah.
So any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, and glad to navigate that. This next item, number 11, is a legal proposal. Just to give a little history, I think it's been less than 2 years ago, I believe, we approved intervening in a rate hike, rate increase from Bluegrass Water that would have that impacted several neighborhoods here in our community, and Strobo Barkley represented us. And at that time, you know, many of the residential rates were in the $12 range for wastewater, and you know, that rate hike that was eventually awarded to Bluegrass Water was not as high as they had requested, but it went to $77.77 for a single residential rate, and that was awarded by the Public Service Commission. We opposed it, and had a few phone calls in the last few weeks, and was concerned that Bluegrass Water was going to do another rate hike adjustment application with the Public Service Commission. So I've been involved in a few phone calls. I've reached out to the Division of Water and asked some questions about how do we verify if in fact any improvements have been completed where the rate hike was impacted at, and then what type of capacity is left at these areas as well. And the answer that I received from the Division of Water concerns me, because if the improvements do not involve a permit, there is no verification process, period. And that's very concerning to me, because our constituents are paying this higher rate, and there's no evidence that improvements have been made to those systems. And then Bluegrass Water officially made an application with the Public Service Commission to have a new rate increase. And let me share some data. You know, currently in individual single residential rate currently is $77.77. Their proposed rate is going to $114. That's $36.23 or 46% rate hike. The Delaplane non-residential fixed monthly rate is $197.43, and currently $11.67 per 1,000 gallons, I believe. the proposal there is to go to $285 and $55.86 per 1,000 gallons. That's 378% increase.
You could buy a bottle of water cheaper.
I mean, so I feel compelled to ask this court on behalf of our citizens and our folks to try to, again, retain Strobo Barkley, because I feel very strongly that they are one of the better firms that can really try to help us navigate this. And I think, Cam, the official process is that we have to file a letter of notice to intervene.
Yeah, it's a motion to intervene, and that's what we did last time, and I think it's my understanding is it is at the discretion of the Public Service Commission to grant that or not. They granted it last time, so I guess that's a good reason to believe they'll do it again. The Attorney General intervenes in the case as a matter of statutory right. They've already done that, but so assuming you all approve this, that will be the next step is this firm to file that motion to intervene.
So I shared the proposal via email from, I'm sorry, Cam.
Just came to me.
Yes.
At some point, probably today or in the next couple of days, the Public Service Commission will enter a scheduling order. And when that happens, I think my understanding is we have about 7 days to file that motion. So we need to make a decision today.
So if as I recommend, if we approve engaging Strobo Barkley, they will immediately move forward. We've talked to them. Cam's been in touch with them 2 or 3 times. But I know that we have several people here that live in impacted areas. And before we move any further, if anyone wants to make public comment on this, I would please encourage you to, if you so want to take a few minutes and just share any insight that you might want to with the court. I feel very confident that the court supports doing this, but I think hearing from you all is important as well.
Yeah, my name's William Daniel. I live in Moon Lake.
Yes, sir.
2 years ago, they raised our rate to $77. I haven't seen them in the subdivision twice. I've seen them once. They've done a maintenance on the pump. Twice, they had a contractor come in and do the smoke test. That's all I've seen them. Never seen them before. Okay? But they raised our rate. And my problem is, I feel like there's a root cause to this, and the state is part of the problem. The law is I can't have a septic system. I got to have 5 acres. The law is I have to hook up to that sewer system. I don't have a choice. Okay? Where do I go?
How big is your lot?
Less than an acre.
Less than an acre. And WEDCO, that's a WEDCO, in a plan, it's a zoning, I'm sure it's part of the zoning ordinance, but part of the WEDCO.
It's a state law.
Yeah. But for you to be able to put in a septic, however big that field has to be and your ground has to perk, you also have to have a set aside that if that fails, that you can be able to go to that as a backup.
I understand.
But I certainly support and understand the frustration with the rate hike.
Well, here's my problem is most of these systems are over 50 years old and they haven't been taken care of, most of them.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know this for a fact, but I was told that they bought a system in western Kentucky for $400 just because the people wanted out of it. Okay? So it was kind of like owning a timeshare. I don't know how many people owns a timeshare now, but I don't think too many people do because they come along and say, well, it's $2,000 this year for maintenance fees. You know, if I want a rate increase, I'll ask for 700% like they did last time. That's what they wanted to raise our bill was 700%. But the government come in and said, oh no, we'll let you have 470.
The PSC did.
PSC. Well, that's the government. That's right.
Yeah.
Actually, it's unelected officials.
I mean,
They don't have to answer to anyone.
they have the call. They have they have the power.
Yeah.
What do we do about it?
But my question was going to be, is in our intervention in this, is there any way for us to demand proof of updates or?
Yeah, I think so. David,
And we've discussed that with David Spinar and Strobo Barkley about that concern.
I know there's a huge discovery process that we pursue once we get into the case.
I mean, could they, because I'm not an attorney, so I don't know if, like, when you go into discovery like that, they can be forced to show what they've done?
I
as
think
far
so,
as-
not just by us, but the Attorney General's office and the Public Service Commission will also propound discovery on that.
And then in that scenario, if, say, they haven't done any updates, upgrades, or repairs, could the court intervene and help sue on behalf of the residents who have been out the money has not been used to improve the system?
Yeah, that might be like taking the circuit court.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now the rate increase, I'm sorry, but the rate increase went into effect statewide for everybody from that company.
Yeah.
Well, they done anything in your area or not?
And if I understand their application, part of the basis for them saying they want this one is they've acquired some other systems that aren't here.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying they're illegal or they've done anything wrong. They're within the law, I believe. But they went out there and they seen a spot where that we have a problem. We got all these systems, all these people out here have nowhere to dump their sewer except with them. And now we're stuck. And I've talked to 2 people in Moon Lake that's already talking about moving out because they can't afford it. Okay? And another guy was trying to sell his home and the guy wouldn't buy it because he didn't know what the sewer rate was going to be. And it went up already 400 and some %. Why would I buy something price going up that way?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I feel confident we support your concerns,
Well,
and that's why.
And I appreciate and I thank all of you for your support. But there is a website, a Facebook page you talked
Bluegrass
about.
Water Resistance, and
Bluegrass
I'm
Water
following
Resistance.
it. And
They've been doing it for like 5 years, but like you said, if I want a 400% increase, I'll ask for 800. You know, and they come out, oh well, we'll cut it in half for you. You know, we know how the game works. So
thanks for coming forward and
Thank you.
and hearing from you. Would anyone else like to share? Mr. J.R. Williams.
Oh, look at him grin.
Well, I knew that I knew that you would want to say something,
Well,
and we appreciate it.
like he said, I think he's got it. They went up even higher. They were $12.50 when this company took over. We were about 35, and it's gone up. And I'm glad now you're all throwing those 100% because that's exactly what it is. These papers we get, they'll tell you 35 and whatever. The point is, and I've talked to the Division of Water about this. Chad knows, and there's no accountability anywhere in this. Public Service Commission said it's not our job to Bean County. I call it Bean County. You talk to the Division of Water. See, if we get anything out of this, we ought to find out where the accountability and who should be watching this. This company came from, my understanding, Missouri. They're buying up these plants all over southern United States. So it's just not our problem. It's apparently a national problem. The city of Georgetown, I've called since I came up here today. They do, and that's what I was familiar with back when I was working for the county. That primarily sewage is a user's fee. However much water you run through your water meter, they have to treat that much, so you pay your fair share. Under this formula in which we're set up on today there's no rate. There's no, just like he said, I'm going to throw it up against the wall and see how much it sticks. See, the last rate we got, they asked for 99. Public Service Commission gave them 77. So now they're going to throw the 114, and they might get to their 99. If you're asking for somebody that's accountable, you said nobody. Public Service Commission is appointed by the governor. The governor's phone should be ringing off the wall and say, you appointed these people to take care of the citizens of Kentucky.
Exactly.
You need to be asking them questions, you, the governor. And I don't know how governors work when they're in their last term, but this should be, somebody should be looking at somebody. And there should be somebody we all should be looking at because they're the ones that hold the purse strings. How can you have a system out here that there's no formula? The user fee is a formula. they're running it like a piece of real estate. I'm going to ask this, and I might get this. You know, that's about all I got to say. That somebody's not being held accountable, which shamefully we've become accustomed to no accountability in this society. And I appreciate your all's effort on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question? On that, I haven't seen that website before. On that website, does it give a background story of that company and who owns them and traces all that back to exactly? Okay.
It's just a Facebook page. It's not a website.
Oh, it's a Facebook page. Okay.
And we're going to resistance. A guy named Larry is one of the administrators.
And I think he's out of Muhlenberg County.
He's Western Kentucky.
I think that's what I was able to, and he's been very active. Yes, sir.
Morning. My name's Paul Tony. I live in Longview subdivision, and I'm subject to this rate increase too. A couple of things. I've never dealt with a company that was so eager to announce a rate increase. Every time you turn around, we're getting a letter from them saying, we're going to charge you more. The other thing is, when I lived in the city, like JR said, it was a usage fee. You use 100 gallons, they treat 100 gallons. Is there a way we can get a study done to see what the usage is in our subdivisions and come up with a cost that they're actually trying to charge us for that usage, and see how that compares with other communities that have city water and or package plants? Because this outfit, they're just going after everything they can get and more. The other thing is, I'm curious, have you heard from the industry out on Delaplane Road? H Forge is a huge consumer of water.
And I've touched base with Jack Connor, and Jack Connor is kind of like our representative on the industrial forum, and he was reaching out to H Forge, and actually Jack and I talked about if they would be willing to support us as well, and we could partner somewhat, the industrial forum.
Well, I would hope so. I worked there for a few years after I retired from Toyota, and I saw how much water they used, and I saw what that rate increase did to their bottom line. So maybe we can enlist more of the industries on that road to join us with this
I agree.
protest.
I agree.
Thank you.
Judge, can I
JR.
make one more point?
Yes, sir.
I forgot to say this. The accountability thing it's like with real estate. You put an escrow account. See, this company ought to be required that any money we generate through our bill ought to be put in an escrow account that takes care of that plant alone. They shouldn't be able to take money out of our pocket and go over in another county. It wouldn't behoove me to think that this company would take our money out of this state and use it in another state. If nobody's holding them accountable, they could possibly be doing that. So if there is a guideline, and we do come up with a guideline for this company, an escrow account that somebody could look into, in the bean counting again, all right, you've got this money in your escrow account and you did these repairs, then that shows up where the money went. Does that make sense to most of it?
Is that something that we can add to the question of David Spinard?
I think everything you said makes all the sense in the world, and that's something we talk with our council about.
Well, see, I'm no farmer. I throw out a lot of seeds. A lot of them grow and some don't. I hope this one grows.
All right.
Hey, Judge.
Rick Hostetler.
Well, along that same line, it sounds like we're talking about this accountability. A lot of this is falling directly under the governor. It sounds like we need to get our state legislators, our state senator, Matt Nunn, our 2 state reps, and others across the Commonwealth, because it's affecting numerous counties. This one business and this one rate increase is hammering numerous counties in our Commonwealth. So it sounds like to get any accountability, we're going to have to step it up a notch at our legislative. I don't know how we do that with going along here, but we need to start that conversation as well, I think, with our state legislators.
Senator Nunn.
And I've talked to Senator Nunn as well, and I'll follow up with Tony.
I have too, but I think that needs to happen.
Yeah, but I agree that the governor and the administrative section of that needs to hear about the concerns, and we'll make every effort to make sure that's heard. We might need to circle back at our next meeting with just a resolution that we send straight to the governor.
That's a great idea.
I got 2 questions.
Yes.
I don't know if these are for Cam or who they're for. So, I just learned this today. Are they applying for a rate increase here, or is this across the board? They're across the board. So, are we fighting the rate increase here, or are we fighting it across the board for other counties and other locations?
Well, I think our motion to intervene would be insofar as it pertains to our local jurisdiction.
So we're only fighting it in Scott
That's
County.
where we would have like standing to.
Well, would it affect other
Yeah,
jurisdictions?
it's going to affect other places as well.
And we can ask, one thing that's crossed my mind is, and I don't know if this is the right term, but almost like a class action of all the impacted counties, if there's other groups that we can join together with, that might give us more momentum as well. And that's something we can ask.
Yeah, we can ask about that.
Help share the cost.
You know, I think the Attorney General too is.
Right.
Right. And we have preliminarily discussed potential cost sharing too, because we have to get expert.
Yeah.
You know, your interests are aligned. So
I think that's it. And then the other question I had is, I don't remember what we paid last time. It was $40,000, $50,000 to fight this last time. We're looking at
roughly the estimate for this one.
Yeah, I think it was it's a little over $50,000 to fight this again if we fight on our own. Like, how often can they ask for these rate increases? Are we just going to be paying $50,000, $60,000 every year? Like, is there not a limit? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking.
I don't know.
I don't think there is a limit.
They can just keep asking. They just keep asking. I mean,
What else, JR?
Well, I want to go ahead and make a motion that we agree to this. I mean, we're all in agreement, I think. So let's go ahead and vote.
So
I
we
have
have
to go to another meeting.
All right, so we got a motion.
And I'll second it because I think it's our job to protect these
Yeah,
citizens.
we got a motion, we got a second. Any other comments or questions? Just 1 second. Since we got a motion on the floor. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any other questions? All those in favor of retaining Strobo Barkley to represent us and file a motion to intervene and fight the rate increase on behalf of our community that are impacted by this?
Yes.
So all those in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion passes. JR.
Mr. Pratt brought my stimulating my brain again. The city of Georgetown took over Sadeville and Stamping Ground a few years ago to help those community citizens out. They also bought Mallard Point. My suggestion to answer your question about how we can control those rates and have to waste this money on loggers, we get the city to take over these plants. You know, we, the government, can help them, which I'm paying a higher water rate right now because they made a mistake with their sewer plant out here. They raised my rate to get their butt out of jail on that one. So they can come back and rescue me now. So that just, if you all could negotiate maybe with the city, that would answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yes, sir.
He brought up a point a minute ago about the usage. Okay, where's that sewer go? From Moon Lake, where's it go right now?
It goes, Moon Lake goes underneath the interstate over to Delaplane. There's a package treatment plant right there.
It goes somewhere.
Yeah, that's where it goes.
Georgetown knows how much they're getting.
I don't know. That's a question to ask.
No, they're treating it there.
They treat it in that package treatment plant that's right there off of Triport. What's the name of the road? West Houston, and because I've been out there to look at it.
Yeah.
And talk to the Division of Water.
Somebody knows how much waste they're getting.
And that's what we've asked, what capacity, that was part of our conversation with the Division of Water and with Strobo Barkley. You know, what capacity do they have left? And what capacity are they operating at?
We're not asking them to raise the capacity.
Well,
we're asking them to handle what they're handling and then do away with this other company.
But the other thing is, I want to know, you know, like, how do we verify that they've gotten the ratepayers increase? What have they done? And what I was told, there is no verification unless it is tied to a permit.
Right.
So
that's my problem. There's a root cause here. Yeah, we got a problem with the rate increase right now.
Yeah.
The root cause is you got all these systems out here that's failing that no one's taking care of, and the other people are coming in here and buying for pennies on the dollar, and then said, okay, now we gotta fix it, but we gotta have money to fix it. So we jumped the rate up 470%. But if they'll find out how much usage we're using, Georgetown or somebody ought to be able to tell them how many gallons we're using.
But I don't think Georgetown is tied to them at all.
I know they're not.
Division of Water is
The
supposed to
Division of
regulate
Water,
the flow rates.
and we've asked for that information from the Division of
So
Water.
who's in charge of the waste that goes out?
The Division of Water monitors and inspects that facility.
Who's in charge of just getting rid of it?
It goes into a creek after they treat it.
They regulate, they check the flow rates.
Okay, but somebody has to know how much is coming in.
And that's the Division of Water.
Somebody ought to know that.
Division of Water.
Yeah. Somebody ought to be able to find out. I can't find out. But somebody in government might be able to.
And in we are waiting for a call back from the Division of Water because I've reached out to them myself.
And then when the rate increase gets improved, then we call them again, or, I mean, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm throwing my hands up in the air here.
Yeah, and we're trying to help.
And I understand that. I appreciate it, but it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
With that said, then, that leads us down to number 12, Detention Center SOPs, and I'll let Jella Burles start it off. And
Good morning again, Judge. So what I gave you this morning was stems from a conversation that the judge had with one of you all about a possible change to the new intake admission policy. Everything in green is what I added to the policy. I did not show my deletions, but I deleted the concerned language from the policy. And Cam was in on this conversation as well and contributed to being able to wordsmith this to where it sounded good and articulated.
so that is a proposed amendment to what was presented in the green. That does address a question that was brought to me.
Yep, and the other proposed amendment was brought to my attention this morning by Mr. Wallace, that we may not have the current county code in there. And so I'd like to make that change as well to get the current code in there. Personnel code.
So 221 through 313 is where the old handbooks end, I think. So I think on 328, new handbook should be inserted. So I'll get with Stacy. We'll email that.
And that is just replacing the old one with the new one.
Right.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I think. And then there was a couple questions that we've talked about, and the jailer or his designee is the custodian of records, and currently open records all go to the jail already. Stacy does occasionally get some, and talking with Cam this morning and Jailer Broyles, that is appropriate to keep that as that is. Stacy says yes, but she's very happy to hear that. And then there was a section that we discussed about essentially if there's a conflict between the SOPs or the employee handbook. And you shared this morning that it's been there since 2016. And if that's the case, and Cam said it has, that is.
And there's really no change for the court to consider approving on that. So let it lie.
Let it lie. And then, are there any other questions or comments? David Livingston.
On this one, on this jailer,
yes, sir.
Front page of it where it's highlighted.
Yes.
Where it says where they are lawfully obtained specific articulable facts that cause a reasonable deputy. What does reasonable deputy mean?
I think that it is under reasonable circumstances, reasonable.
But do you see what I'm saying? Is the deputy reasonable, or are they not being
Yeah,
reasonable?
we can definitely take that out, that adjective.
And then there's, Lord have mercy, the regulation that this is based on is horrible, terrible, horrible, and the legislature needs to take this up. I want to point this out for everybody. It says in this regulation, KAR, the governing authority shall provide funds for adequate legal and this is not specifically towards you, this is just in general. If the jailer is active within his official capacity and is involved in civil or criminal litigation as a result, I don't think any governmental body, if there is a lawsuit that comes against the jailer or any fiscal court member or anybody else involved in fiscal court, once insurance says, if there's a criminal lawsuit and insurance defends you until there is a judgment, and there is a judgment, I don't understand why in the world a taxpayer dollar would have to be spent once there is a judgment in a criminal lawsuit against a county employee or an elected official. So I think that this is terrible in the regulation because it's saying that we would be on the hook from here on out on every appeal that could ever occur on a lawsuit that could drag out for 10 years. It's terribly written. I think it puts the county on the hook.
So how do we address that?
Well, I need to find out what area of the government is over this Kentucky administrative regulation. It's 501, so I got to go figure out who 501 is. I'm assuming it's criminal justice. I don't know, but this whole thing has been, it was written way back in the day, and it's just basically been kicked down the road. It just gets approved every 7 years, and it was approved in 23 was the last time that it was approved. And I go in here, you should be able to look and see if any changes were made, and I can't see any changes that were made on it. But it's just horribly written.
So we can follow up on that.
Yeah.
It's like Department of Corrections.
Okay.
Christy, what's Christy's? Kirsty Willard.
Kirsty Willard.
I think that's where we should start.
And the other question I just want to ask, like magistrates and commissioners, our association, every 4 years after an election, the association expends money to hire a consultant that goes in and writes up what our job duties are. It's a pretty thick book of what everything we can't do, and that is updated every 4 years and everything. So does the Jailers Association do standard operating procedures for jails? Because you're all falling under the same KAR, KRS. I would think there needs to be a singular document that everybody is running under.
The only thing that's offered us, and I'm sure you know this, David, is that KACO provides some recommended policies.
Sure, but not a full document.
No,
Okay.
no. And
Or
it's
a
really,
draft document.
I consider our SOPs, they've got to be in the top 10 jails in the state.
I can only imagine.
Because, I'm a little bit OCD and want things done a certain way, but it's just hit and miss going from county to county, kind of what the jail SOPs are. We're all guided by federal law, state law, and the jail standards. But if you've read the jail standards, they're pretty broad, and they give the jailer a lot of latitude as to how he wants to interpret and follow through with administering those jail standards. Coming from my background from state police, I like structure and I like continuity. I wish we all operated much more under a common umbrella of SOPs so that we would know from jail to jail across the state, and especially since we're sending some of our inmates every month to other jails. That's why I'm so picky with who we send our inmates to, because you can have from county to county, even counties right next to each other, very differing SOPs and the ways that those jails are operating.
So does your association have a new executive director yet?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know who it is.
Okay.
New executive director replacing Renee, but I can't remember who it is.
So, Kelly Corman,
I was gonna say, do we make a motion on this change?
so to accept the SOPs with that amendment and then removing the old handbook and inserting the new handbook.
Can I make a comment first?
Yes, Mr. Wallace.
So, Darren, the only issue that I had has been brought to me about, and I don't know, I guess it applies under SOPs. It would be on page 5 about public information.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a procedure that you had changed at some point in 2025. there used to be the mug shots of people that were on the Scott County Detention Center. And look, I get it. You're taking a picture of somebody at their worst time. I totally get it. But that's no longer, and I know there's websites that come pull that stuff, like Mobile Patrol and Busted and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But that is not in there. And you at some point had changed that policy, I assume. I don't know. I assume that it came from you. Is that right?
Yeah,
Can you explain that?
Yeah, you're talking about the policy of sharing somebody's mugshot with kind of the general public.
Yeah, that's right. They're not even on the detention center website.
That's right. Yeah, so over a short period of time last year, I personally received a few phone calls regarding the use of the mugshots on some of these private for-profit websites like Busted that you mentioned. And a couple of the phone calls, one person said, if I remember right, he did his time. He basically took care of the charge. He was sorry that he did it. And he had the charges, his record expunged to where that's not even on his record anymore. But Busted continues to have his picture and charges and all of that listed. And he really had a problem with his picture being posted. He said, I've done my time. I went through the proper legal course to get my record expunged, and I'm doing better, but I don't think it's right that I continue to have this chain around my neck for perpetuity. And he reached out to Busted, and Busted was not inclined to help him. They just wanted to keep it on the website. And so that was one individual. Second individual that contacted me, and that gave me a different perspective, quite honestly, Chad, because in the past, I've been like, you know what? This is just part of it. You know, you got arrested for this. And but this guy gave me a little bit of pause to think about it a little bit differently. Then I received these couple of other phone calls, and one of them was an individual that said, I was wrongfully arrested. I did not do what the police said I did. And I went to court, bless you, Judge. I went to court, and the case was dismissed. Yet, I'm still on Busted, my picture, my charges, everything. And he said, I don't think it's right. And he said, what can you do about it? And I said, I can't do anything about it. I reached out to Busted to try to get some type of response. Yeah. So this guy also, he's got this chain around his neck, and he, from the get-go, has said he didn't do what he was accused of doing. He was found innocent in court, and he still has this hanging around his neck. So based on these phone calls, I wanted to stop sharing those mugshots with the private, for-profit websites that are getting them. And so I worked with our jail software management company, Jail Tracker, and the only way we could do it, they said these private websites, once we put them on our website, I saw it as a service to our community to put the mugshot, put the charges and all that out there of people coming in. But the only way the JMS, the Jail Tracker, could solve it is for us to say we're not going to release them at all, because the private websites are like, I don't think he called it ghosting, but they're like copying it. Yeah, they're like getting it from our website. And so the only way to prevent that from happening, and in my opinion, members of our community being wronged in some cases by especially this guy that said he didn't even do what he was accused of, but he continues to have this, his mugshot and charges listed on this website. The only way I could figure out to stop it was what I did not want to do, because I thought, again, it was a good service to provide to the community, allowing those on our website, is just to stop releasing them, and that's what we did. That's what I chose to do.
That makes, I understand. I can put it on those other places. I could do without that, but
right.
They weren't on the actual detention website, and so I understand now why they're not on there. I want to understand the logic behind it, because that's really one of the only complaints I've gotten about.
I wish we could still offer that service to the community, but not. I feel like we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater by what we've done. But
if there's some major crime and a member of the press makes an open records request,
and we do that.
That's going to be
we do that every couple of weeks. We get an open records, mugshot, charges, citation, whatever they ask for gets given to the media.
How are they getting charged? Because I see people still post for the busted, somebody gets arrested without the mugshot. So how are they getting? So if there's nothing on the website at all,
in
How are
the
they-
website.
The charges are there, the
Yeah.
pictures.
So you also put the charges, you
Yes.
just don't put the pictures.
Yeah, I just stopped doing the pictures. We could stop doing the charges as well, but these individuals were particularly upset about the pictures still being on there, and so I still allow the charges to be out there.
But when the individual goes to court, those charges are public record as well.
You know, I was Chad and I had actually discussed this some, and I was aggravated that it wasn't on there, but now that you've talked about it, it is a different perspective because the folks that were in here earlier, you know, I would hate for them to have something like that hanging around their neck when they're trying to do the right thing.
Agreed, yes.
So I totally understand why you did what you did. I think it's a good decision.
Thanks.
Would there be a motion to approve? Motion, second from Rick Hostetler. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
If I can just say, Judge and Magistrates, I will not get these to you at the end of the year next year. We'll do it like in November and give you all, sorry for it's worked in years past, and then when there's a question or something, it puts us all under the gun. So I'll endeavor to do better next year.
If you can, as you go, like redline it, and that would be.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. In years past, I've tried to give you a list of changes so you can go here and there. There were so many this year, and it was throughout the SOPs that I was not able to do that. But I'll do that next year.
So,
thank you.
With that said, with this being a special call meeting, our next item is to adjourn, but I will venture out and say I'd like to wish our community a Merry Christmas. And we're blessed in so many ways, and we have challenges.
You're out of order.
I am out of order, so I take that. I take that liberty. If anybody else wants to be out of order, and wish
Judge, Merry Christmas.
Yes, I like saying Merry Christmas. Anybody else?
Scrooge.
Yeah. With that said, then, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion second. All those in favor, please say aye. We are adjourned.